channel says Happy Halloween and welcomes you to California Speedway Fontana for the Lexus Grand American Champions Weekend. 11 rounds down, just one to go, and it is the most important round of the year as all three class titles are up for grabs.
The championship is theirs. GT, it's something else. Bill Auberlen, Boris said they'll fight it to the end, guys.
This is the Lexus Grand American 400, the final and deciding round of this 2004 Rolex sports car season. It has been brilliant. How will it end? We'll find out now as the green flies here at Fontana, and it's 1, 2, 3 for Ganassi as they head down the front straight. Darren Law comes through on the inside, and here comes Elliott Robinson.
Up on the 14th banking round, we're going to go around NASCAR turn 1 and 2. But when they get to turn 3, it's a bottleneck situation, a hairpin. Watch for the brake zone.
Wayne Taylor tucks in there. So too does the Kodak Easy Share car. They were told in the drivers' meeting to take it easy right here at turn 3.
We've got a spin at the turn 7 and another spin.
Around goes the Bell machine.
And as well the 27. No, that's the 9, the goat kart.
Let's talk GT for a moment. And the 21 is in the lead. That is Bill Auberlen and Justin Marks. And Bill is gunning for his second Rolex Sports Car Series GT crown. He won 2 years ago with Paul Wagner.
Boy, hear that, he's on a rev limiter there. I don't know if I'd be doing that, knowing that I just exploded an engine in the practice session before this.
And the big boys have started the race. They qualified, and Boris said is in the 22. And so too in the 16 team with Kelly Collins again this weekend is young Tom Milner, the son of the team owner.
Boris, who makes that pass.
Let's talk more about the 21. Bill Auberlen. Brian has an update.
Well, Dorsey, you just talked about him exploding a motor yesterday in practice. Justin Marks was in the 21 car, and what happened was they broke a rod bolt. The concern for all the PTG team is that rod bolt came out of a box that all the other engines are built with also, so they wonder if there was a problem in the manufacturing of that part or not, and a little bit of concern on the part of all three of those BMW engines because they all have the same bolt.
It's running smoothly at the moment, though. And we're into a rhythm now. And Auberlen has shown just what a good driver he is amongst various categories, whether it be here in the Rolex Series, the Speed World Challenge, whatever. P-Race, and he's been right in the thick of it. It's Wayne Taylor back out on track in the SunTrust Pontiac Riley. Frustration for them. And let's go inside their camp with Chris Neville.
Is there anything more you can do today, or do you just look towards next year?
Yeah, we just keep running as fast as we can today. See if anything happens to the 0-1, and just get working for next year.
Well, this is really a heartbreak for this team. They put such a huge effort into this, and really surprised everybody in their first year of competition.
And there they are, the two TPC machines. Andy Lally, the champion-elect for this new class in 2004. For many years, the Rolex Sports Car Series was 4 different classes. This year it got trimmed to 3. And next year, I have to say, it's a very smart idea. To keep it simple, it'll be 2 classes next year, Daytona Prototype and GT.
And that, for the fans, will be a fantastic situation because the 2 cars are so vastly different. Everyone knows what the prototype is. Everybody will now know what the GT is.
Update on Terry Borchella's situation. A message direct from race control. They say the 54 Kodak EasyJet Doran must change that suspension piece, Cal.
That's correct, Lee, and Jim Bell said the problem is I don't have...
Kodak Easy Share car. The 16, the third PTG BMW with young Tom Milner behind the wheel. And talking with Tom Sr., I understand that this young man will be a permanent fixture in the team next year. Let's hear from his co-driver, Kelly Collins.
Kelly, the past few seasons you've been a fixture with the Corvette factory team. This year you floated around a little bit, but still a lot of success. Lots of professional drivers are thinking that the future of sports car racing is the Daytona prototypes. You had some good runs this year with G&W. Are we going to see you back in a prototype next year?
You know, I'd like to be back in a prototype. Right now, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I like the Grand Am. It's been good to me so far this year, and I really feel like the Renaissance man. You know, I've driven GT cars, I've driven the prototypes, I've driven for 3 different Dorn teams, and I'm working on some stuff. I got some irons in the fire in GT and in Grand Am Cup and in prototypes. So right now, I'm just focused on this race today. I'm driving for the PTG BMW factory team. I'm the 3rd car with Tom Milner Jr. and having a blast doing it. It's a very nice car to drive, and our job here is to win Billy or Boris the championship.
Well, he's put on some great shows all year long. Hopefully we'll see him back next year.
And yes, folks, we give him plenty of grief about those weird glasses he wears. That problem with the rear suspension part. Meanwhile, we need to squeeze in a quick commercial break. This is the Rolex Sports Car Series live on speed from Fontana. Plenty more to come. laid down a 1:33, which was faster than our race leader Max Pappas. And Bill Auberlen has brought the 21 BMW M3 onto pit lane, and Chris Neville is there.
Lee, lots of action with the PTG team. Bill Auberlen came in, fuel and tires. He stayed in the car. Also, Boris said came in the 22. He handed it over to Joey Hand. Fuel and tires, smooth stop for that team too. And also, it looks like Tom Milner is setting up to come in, and Kelly Collins will be getting in that car shortly.
All three PTG BMWs. GT, it is BMW 1, 2, and 3, and they could not be happier because there's a manufacturer's title as well as the driver's title on the line this weekend. And for Tom Milner, who runs this group, it would be a very, very nice way to end the day with both titles. Chris?
Lee, so far smooth sailing with all three cars. It's pretty much been that way all season long, and talking with Tom this weekend, they are committed to Grand Am and coming back next year. He had some thoughts earlier in the season of hopefully moving up to Daytona prototypes, but he is going to be committed to bringing 3 BMWs, possibly 4 back for next year. Now, the only driver that is confirmed to come back for next year right now is Joey Hand, but hopefully when Bill Auberlen gets out of that car, we can talk to him about that situation.
A very strong day for these guys. And Rich Breckus and Hernando Carvajal, two very important people for BMW North America, are here today and hope to cheer their boys home to victory lane. The 16 running strongly in GT. The second of the PTG BMWs, and Kelly Collins, the Californian, is behind the wheel. And we just spoke with him earlier, and we mentioned the point that Kelly has done a lot of leapfrogging and jumping around to whatever rides he can pick up this year. There's been one thing consistent, and that is every team owner and manager that he's driven for have been very impressed with his efforts.
That is a fact. And I'll tell you what, GT next year is going to be a different class. They're changing a little bit. They're getting rid of the SGS class. GT is going to become a very big class. You're going to have 25, 30 cars every weekend. We know there's going to be factory involvement from BMW. We know there's going to be some involvement from General Motors.
W Machine, Wagner has some big plans for next year. We'll tell you about that, but problems for the 21. Bill Auberlen's BMW on pit road. He gets out. Justin Marks is climbing in.
This is a championship hopeful here. If there's really trouble with that car.
Well, that's the word we got. That's the word we got. There was trouble, but is there? And we're now hearing that the team were actually pushing the car onto pit road.
And now the body's up. Yeah, they're going underneath the hood.
Chris Neville, what do you see down there?
Well, I just got down here, guys, and Justin Marks is in this car. There are some problems. They've got the hood up. They've got the computer plugged in. They don't know exactly what the problem is, but looks like an electronic problem.
Now, to highlight just how important this is, Boris said is only 7 points behind Bill Auberlen in the championship chase. So if these guys slip down the order, the championship could go Boris Said's way.
Well, obviously, he barely could get this car back. It's dead. The team, you look way down the road there, they're coming to, the assistants are going to try to push the car down to their stall. They can't work on it until it gets there. And so this car, obviously, is dead.
And you may remember the story at the top of the show. This is the car that blew an engine in practice earlier in this weekend. In SunTrust Machine, we climb on board with young Californian Justin Marks, who's had a very valuable season driving with the top line guys in the PTG outfit. Of course, he drove with them last year as well in the Speed World Challenge GT Championship, but he's learned a lot over the past 18 months or so. And this is the scenario as far as GT. We'll get to that in a moment. First, here's Chris.
Lee, down here with the PTG team, the 21, the problem was a fuel pump issue. They've got him back out on track. That car should be in good shape now, but obviously you can see Bill Auberlen very upset. He asked not to speak with us right now. This happened last year too. Last stage of a championship that he lost it because of a mechanical problem. So today, not looking good for his championship hopes. Now the benefactor of this, obviously a good friend of his and teammate, is going to be Boris Said. Boris, obviously you don't like winning a championship like this, but it looks like it might be going in your direction.
I mean, you never know. I mean, the most important thing is it's team effort, and that BMW wins the manufacturer, and if we can finish 1, 2, 3 today would be great. But yeah, I don't like winning like this. I mean, me and Bill shared a car the first half of the year, and obviously today he was faster than I was. So, I mean, I wish we could win the championship together, but it's not to be. I don't really care about championships, but I do have to say something about our friend Lee Dippitt. We're going to miss him. I know he's going home. I tried to get with him last night, but I heard he was all tied up. I saw him drive by, but he didn't hear me when he was on the roof. But maybe good luck to Lee, and we're going to definitely miss him. And BMW's going to win this year no matter what, so that's a great thing.
Well, we'll give Bill a few more minutes before hopefully we can get a couple words with him.
Do you want to explain that, Dorsey, or shall I?
Well, Boris apparently saw you sometime last night, seemingly bound to the top of an SUV to the roof, as it were. I don't know much about it.
And folks, my good friends in the announce booth in pit lane did it to me. But anyway, let's get back to the racing because it's serious stuff for the 21 and the 22. And the scenario is, if Boris said wins the race, Justin Marks needs to get the 21 up to as high as 4th to still give Bill Auberlen a chance. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, Hayes. And he's been to and fro crossing the Atlantic. He's had plenty of commitments in Europe this year. Young Mexican. Let's talk GT for a moment. We've got the 16 and the 22. The Milner Collins machine just ahead of the Joey Hand Boris said car. That's how they stand in GT. And at the moment, Boris said and Bill Auberlen are tied for the lead in the championship. And if that were to happen, if that were to stay the same, Bill Auberlen would win on a count back of victories. More for Auberlen than Boris said. But we've still got 50-odd minutes to go, and we'll see what happens later today here at California Speedway Fontana. The way it sits at the moment, with Luis Diaz leading the race, Scott Pruitt second, due to that 30-second penalty.
I'll tell you what, you got to be fit to do it.
On board with Justin Marks, and he is 5th in class, 17th overall. And now let's talk to his teammate who is in the pressure seat, Bill Auberlen.
Bill, in the past 5 years, you had 2 champions slip away from you in the last race. When you got out of the 21 just a little bit ago, you thought that had happened again. Obviously, you were very emotional, but Justin's been fighting back, and now the 21 is in a position to get you the championship.
Yeah, I just feel bad for the team. This has happened to us like last year in the World Challenge, Speed World Challenge, then a couple years before that, some other series. It can't happen again. We have to turn it around. Justin's out there climbing his way back up. The way it is, we're okay again, but it could change. I mean, I'm on pins and needles. It's going to kill me here.
You've been a factory driver for BMW for almost a decade now. That contract is up at the end of this year. Some rumors around the paddock here that you might be back with BMW next year, but also some other teams that are working on Daytona prototype programs, some manufacturers trying to pull you in that direction. Where are we going to see you in 2005?
You know, I've been with BMW so long, it's hard to go. I don't want to go, but there's some really neat Daytona prototype stuff. I mean, for a driver always wants to go as quick as he can go, and Daytona prototype now is the place to be. I got some neat stuff laying there. It just, it's a matter of can BMW and I work a deal out, and it looks like maybe we could. Lee?
Thanks, Chris. And interesting to hear that update from Bill Auberlen. And we'll watch his progress with much interest. Will he be able to get that victory today for the championship, or will it go to Boris said? And as you can see there, he's going for his 9th GT win of the season. It's been a very impressive one for the Prototype Technology Group, BMW M3. Battle here for position. Let's talk GT, and this is the fight for the lead, and it's a team squabble between the 16 and the 22, between Kelly Collins and Joey Hand. Look at them go at it, and in the middle of it is Christian Fittipaldi.
Christian.
So Kelly Collins leads the GT class, teaming with young Tom Milner, and if they could win, that would be yet another different winner in the GT class. It's been dominated by Bill Auberlen this year. In the first half, it was Auberlen and Said. In the second half, Auberlen and Marks. But Kevin Buckler, Tom Nastasi had a victory. That was at Homestead. Boris Said and Justin Marks had a victory at Watkins Glen. Of course, the Policastros, Johnny Mollem and Robin Liddell won the Rolex 24 at Daytona in the GT class. We may have another different winner in GT today. There in the middle is Andy Lally.
That's the lead. Yes, Andy Lally right there, 38, getting past. Big nothing to breathe there. He's on the flag on for.
Well, let's get down to the TPC cam to hear more from those guys.
Well, in fact, there's Mark Bunning behind the wheel and Andy Lally. You just lost the lead, but you and Mark have clinched the Drivers' Championship.
Looking at the 22 PTG BMW on track, it has just visited pit lane. Chris Neville can tell us why.
Lee, real quick stop for Joey Hand in the 22. Just came in for fuel. No tires on that stop, so very quick stop. Came in, got his fuel, and went back out.
And we understand the Cisco Crawford thinks she will be. Not completely sure on that. We go back to our GT leader, the 16 of Kelly Collins. And if things remain as is, the championship is going Bill Auberlen's way. Joey Hand needs to put the 22 into the top spot for Boris said to be the GT champion. So that's been, he has worked so hard. And look at, there's a fresh winner in GT. The 16 of Tom Milner Jr. and Kelly Collins victorious there. There's young Tom. Formula BMW this year and sports cars to round. And they celebrate. And so too to PTG BMW, Bill Auberlen. He and his good friend Boris said tied for points, but the Californian wins it on a countback of victories. We take a look at GT. It can't be any closer than this. Tied between Bill Auberlen and Boris said. And as we mentioned, Bill Auberlen gets his second GT Rolex Championship on a countback of victories. He had more than Boris. Awesome effort. And now let's hear from our GT champion.
Bill, you've been winning races all year long. A little over an hour ago, you thought you lost the championship. Obviously, an emotional day for you, but you got it in the end.
This was the biggest roller coaster ride of my entire life. I mean, we go from leading, and it's great, to we're out of it, to we're back in it. We tied. Boris and I tied. So all of a sudden, I was the happiest guy on the planet, and now I feel bad for Boris because he's as deserving as I am, and this team, PTG, Dave, Brian, all the guys, I owe everything to them, and they've lifted the curse, and BMW, get a BMW, it's the best.
Well, he gets his 7th professional championship, so a big score for Bill Auberlen, and also the team gets another win with the 16 car.